So, hey guys, and welcome to my brand new series, Things I Want to See in The Simpsons Tapped Out, Episode 1. I've called this Episode 1 the Tracy Ullman episode, and also, you'll see what the actual title is. It depends what I decide to call the title, but that's the working title at the minute. Yeah, for this one I'm going to be going through basically my ideas, and then I'm going to be showcasing two of your guys' ideas. So, I'll be doing basically two separate comments because I figured if I did every one from that last video, then it would take too long. So I don't need comments in a minute, and if your comment isn't included in this video or episode 2 or episode 3, it will definitely be in 4, 5, 6, or 7. It will be in one of them. So all those comments from the previous video, please don't repeat those comments. I've got all your comments, don't worry, and they will be featured in one of these videos eventually. However, if you've got more ideas, please feel free to comment them down below, but you won't see them for a while. They'll probably be in an episode down the line, but they will eventually appear in this series. So please do comment though if you want to. If you've got any ideas, if this helps you bring some ideas, please do comment them in the thing, because otherwise this series cannot work. So anyway, let's first of all go to my ideas. So let's go. So my idea today, my character I'm bringing to the table today is Lewis Clark. Now, the thing that's interesting about Lewis Clark is, of course, he is a Springfield Elementary student. I do want to see him in the game because I think now we've got Wendell, I kind of want Lewis as well. Now, he's kind of in the game already. There's a character called the Worker Elves, and that is basically Lewis and Jaffe. They are two students in Springfield Elementary. Now, both of those are obviously, they're sort of in the game, but I'm not considering that as Lewis in the game, because that is not Lewis. That is, I don't mind them combining Lewis and Jaffe if they want to, but I want them to actually distinguish that that is Lewis and Jaffe. So until they do that, I'm still saying that I want Lewis to be in the game, added as his own separate character. So there you go. Lewis Clark is my character that I want to see. Moving on, my building for today is Fort Springfield. I've talked about this quite a lot. It's probably one of my most requested buildings at this point. Really, I don't understand why they haven't added it in the game, considering how different military events we've had. Well, we've only had the one military event, but of course with the whole Lisa stuff, the what's it called, Rommelwood. That's it, the Rommelwood event. I'm recently with the Bart Royale event, which is just coming to a close now. It kind of had like a military undertone to it. It returned a lot of the military stuff, so I think it's possible that they could have added it in. They could have added Fort Springfield in the Bart Royale event, actually, but they didn't. So I really do want to see it eventually in the game. I think it would be a really, really cool building. They could close it off a bit like they do with Krusty Lou Studios, just have it as a closed-off fence with a bunch of barracks inside. That's all it'd have to be. I definitely want to see this, though, the little entrance at the front. Like, that has to be the front. That will complete the thing for me. But yeah, really, really awesome building. A building that's appeared quite a few times. It's been of course, it's where Skinner trained. It's where I think Homer trained there for a bit as well. So it's been used a few times in the Simpsons. So I definitely want to see it. So there's the first portion of my ideas, and then I've got some more. So my costume that I'm bringing today, I did say that I was going to bring a costume every episode. We'll see how long that lasts for. My first costume is the church clothes. Now, they've done a few Bart and Lisa bundles over the past kind of thing. They did an elf, they did the elf one, and they also did the Wizard Bart and Lisa. So hell, if they're going to do another little bundle, they may as well do the church clothes Bart and Lisa, or if they want, they could do an entire family, but I decided doing more than 2 is probably a bit cheating, so I'm just doing 2 today, and that's the church clothes of Bart and Lisa. So I think that they have appeared those 2 have appeared quite the most, and they're quite significant because, of course, Bart has his hair slicked back, he's got his suit on, and Lisa's got her pink dress on. Definitely want to see both of them in the game because they've appeared a few times. They could definitely kind of do some interesting tasks with them, and I know that they wouldn't be exactly interesting, but I reckon that they could do some cool animations, some cool tasks. I don't know, really. Some people would think that they were too boring, but they've appeared so regularly in The Simpsons, and there isn't an animation, from what my knowledge, that puts them in these clothes. And it could just be an animation. They could just turn this into an animation, like I don't know, like dress up smartly or something, and then they appear in their clothes, in these clothes as an animation. I would be perfectly fine with that, but I want them in the game somehow, even if that's a costume or an animation. So yeah, and then also my event, that I'm just sort of rehashing an old idea, and I do apologise because I couldn't really come up with a new idea. But my event I really want to see is a Donny Fatso event. So this is the last time that they'll bring the Mafia up again, and they'll basically do some stuff with the Mafia. I don't know. I think it would be really interesting to do this, and they could add a new Fat Tony. If you haven't watched this idea, please do watch it. I think it's one of my favourite mini event ideas that I actually want to come to life. So please go watch that. Links in the description for the Donny Fatso event. Yeah. So moving on. Anyway, so the comment today comes from Rinja Wolfcastle and Legaroy7100. So they sort of had the similar comments, so I just sort of combined them. But the main one is Rinja Wolfcastle's comment, but I just threw yours one in there as well. So Tracy Ullman event, which I think is a really unique idea. Nobody's really people have mentioned it, but I really, this one stuck out to me. Plus it got upvoted the most, so I decided to bring this one as my kind of main idea and focus a large portion of the episode around this. So basically he lists in the Tracy Ullman event, so we'll have a character which will be Tracy Ullman, which I'll get onto, which is a bit of a difficult one, but and the costume is the 1987 Simpsons costume, which we've talked about before, as a skin for the Simpsons, in the individual Simpsons characters. And the decoration is the bus stop from season 1, with the NPC characters just standing there. Of course, it's talking about the title screen that we got with the bus stop, and I'll show you a picture in a minute. And then Legaroy7100 said the same thing, just a Tracy Ullman event with Tracy Ullman. So anyway, let's go look at that. So Tracy Ullman. So basically, we're talking about Tracy Ullman event. Now, I think this would probably have to be a mini event more than a major event. I don't know if they could really do a major event out of this. They could maybe just combine a lot of the little shorts into kind of a mini event and just throw a bunch of decorations in there. Of course, the main thing we would be getting is this costume for the Simpsons. I don't really know. I guess they could, of course, give us Tracy Ullman as a character, but apart from that, there wouldn't really be many other characters they could add. However, I've kind of added something to this idea, which we'll talk about in a second. So, of course, this is the decoration he was talking about. This is the bus stop from season 1. It's, of course, in the title opening for season 1 of The Simpsons. Just that's all it will be. So a little bus stop with those people standing by. I think actually that would be kind of a cool decoration. Definitely a nice little blast from the past. Something we could see. And of course, as a costume would be, of course, these guys here. The Simpsons. The old Simpsons, if you want. The very first Simpsons from the Tracy Ullman show. So you get these kind of really odd looking, funny looking things, and I reckon that they would make a really unique costume in Tapped Out. I definitely would like to see them as costumes. They're quite highly requested. I don't know if they can though. I'm a little bit unsure with the copyright when it comes to this, because I'm not sure if the Tracy Ullman shorts fall under Fox's copyright or fall under like Tracy Ullman's copyright. I'm not 100% sure about that, so I don't know if they could do this, but I don't see why not, because I'm pretty sure it's appeared in an episode before. So I'm like 60% sure that they could add this, but I'm not 100% sure, that's for sure. Anyway, moving on, of course, he also both of them talked about having Tracy Ullman as a character, which could work, but I couldn't find like a Simpsonized version of Tracy Ullman. If somebody could find me a Simpsonized version of Tracy Ullman, please do leave me a link in the description. But I couldn't actually find one, so there's Tracy Ullman in real life. But I guess they could, like they did with Weird Al Yankovic, they could add her into the thing and kind of Simpsonize her. Very possible. But I don't know if they will. There was like a whole legal battle that she went through with trying to get like rights to The Simpsons, so I don't know how willing she would be to do that. Of course, I think Weird Al was I think at least told about his Tapped Out cameo, so and he was cool with it. So I guess they probably would have to ask her permission. I think so. yeah, that's a possibility, but she still may accept. But if she doesn't, that's completely fine, because there's a way around it. There's something else they could add other than Tracy Ullman into the thing, and that is the characters she voiced. So first of all, Emily Winsrop. She of course is a dog trainer in The Simpsons. This kind of posh upper class sort of dog trainer. Definitely would make a very interesting character in the game. So definitely a character that they could definitely add, and I would like to see it in the game. That's the first character, and the second character is Sylvia Winfield, who I've talked about before in the past. Sylvia Winfield, who used to live in the brown house next door to Simpsons. Of course, she also has her husband, Mr. Winfield, who's there as well. But she would make an interesting character, Sylvia Winfield, and I would like to see her. Tracy Ullman didn't just voice her; like somebody else voiced Sylvia Winfield down the line, but she voiced her, I think, the first time that she appeared. But with Emily, Tracy was the only person who voiced Emily, so definitely one I would like to see in The Simpsons tapped out. Yeah, and that would be their way of adding Tracy Ullman into the game, in a little cheeky way. But yeah. And then Logan the Hedgehog. So this is the second comment of this video that we're going to be talking about. I'm not going to bring up any other comments, so we'll just do 2 comments at a time each episode, if that's cool. Otherwise, it'd be too long. So Logan the Hedgehog puts, already have some things I want to add. I want Itchy and Scratchy for the game and an event based of them. So of course, we've all talked about this in length. Itchy and Scratchy show event, or an Itchy and Scratchy event, anything really. It could be Krusty Land themed, or it could be completely disconnected from Krusty Land. It doesn't really matter in my opinion, but the Itchy and Scratchy show ideas that I have, if you want to go watch that video, please do. I spent quite a bit of time going through all the Itchy and Scratchy shorts, and I kind of compiled like and invented a little event that they could make, and I definitely think it could work. So please do go watch that video. It's in the description if you haven't already. If you have, don't worry about it. And of course, he also mentioned Itchy and Scratchy as characters, which would be really, really awesome. We haven't got these as characters, and it's weird that we haven't, because we've got like Radioactive Man and Fallout Boy, and we have them as mascots, but we haven't yet had them as characters, which is really, really highly requested. And definitely, I hope to God they do it this year, because if they don't do it this year, it's going to be really disappointing, especially how many people are wanting it. Like, I really do want them to do an Itchy and Scratchy event. So yeah, and definitely agree with Lorcan. So yeah, so that's the end of episode 1. There's the episode 2 slide. So yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Tell me your thoughts on the format. Do you reckon I could tweak it a little bit? I mean, I could say I'm going to script it. I'm not going to script it. If you want it to be, if you don't want the ums and ahs and the you knows, sorry, I don't do that. I don't have the time to script it, to be honest with you. I don't even have the time to like do multiple edits. So if you get it in one take basically. Actually, yeah, I sometimes do a second take if the beginning is messed up. But for the most part, that's the video. So yeah, tell me your thoughts on the video. What ideas you want to see? Please do leave them in the description, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.